Welcome to the last part of the discussion on accounting for partnership dissolution. So, kung babalikan mo yung items kung saan nadidissolve ang isang partnership is one, the admission of a partner. Second, the withdrawal, death, retirement of a partner. And lastly is the incorporation of a partnership. So, when the partnership decided to convert into a corporation, the partner's relation changes. So, di ba ang sinasabi, the partnership is dissolved once the relationship between the partners changes. So, in this case, nagkaroon ng changes on the partnership relation because they cease to be partners and they become stockholders now. So, there are various reasons why a partnership will be looking and deciding at why they will be incorporating a partnership. One is the limited liability of a partnership. The limited liability of shareholders, I mean. The limited liability of shareholders because ang sinasabi under the corporation code ay kung magkano lang yung amount of your shareholding, yun lang ang liability mo. Unlike in a partnership where the liability extends up to your personal properties. Next, the ease of raising additional capital. Uh, Let us compare and contrast between the two. Yung sa partnership kasi, you have to admit a new partner or you have to invest among yourselves. Kung halimbawa, 5 lang kayo or less than 10 kayo in the partnership, kailangan yung manggaling sa mismong sa inyo yung investment. Paano kung naibigay mo na lahat ng assets of your own in the partnership? It will be hard for the partnership to extend its operations with a limited capital. So, in a corporation, mas madali ang pag-issue ng stocks rather than the additional capital in a partnership. Next, privacy and confidentiality. The in a corporation po pwedeng you are not recognized as a shareholder in the view of the public, unlike sa partnership na the partners are acting as agents of the partnership. Next, the dispersion of risk. Dahil mas maraming owner, the risk is dispersed among yourselves. Unlimited life, because the corporation can extend, can operate until 50 years of operation subject to extension. Um, it is considered having an unlimited life. Unlike sa partnership that can easily be are relatively easy to form but relatively easy to dissolve then. Next, transferability of ownership. Once a shareholder decides not to engage in the corporation or a shareholder dies, the ownership on the stocks can be transferred. Unlike in the partnership na madidissolve pa yung partnership at magke-create uli ng panibago. Next, better public relations. Ang sinasabi dito sa better public relations ay in connection with the ownership, yung ownership, dahil mas marami ang pwedeng maging owner or stockholder ng isang corporation. Ang sinasabi ay uh, it results to better public relations dahil it can be offered to the public at hindi isang group of people lang ang nakikinabang doon sa operations ng business. So yun yung better public relations. Next, corporation acquires the assets and assumes the liabilities of the partnership and in return issues shares of stocks to the owner. So the procedure here is to state the assets. Ang procedure bago mag-incorporate, i-state mo muna yung assets ng iyong partnership at their fair values, including the liabilities. At after ma-state yan at their fair values, ay i-recognize na yan as it will be absorbed by the corporation. So, i-acquire yung assets based on the fair values is stated, and then assume liabilities based on the fair values stated. In return, mag-i-issue yan ng shares of stock to the owners. The capital balances are adjusted for the respective shares in any profit or loss and revaluation gains or losses as of the date of incorporation. The adjusted balances may be used to determine the number of shares to be issued. So we have an illustration related to that. Normally, the books of the partnership are closed and the new books are opened for the corporation. Okay, let us illustrate this. ABC is converted into a corporation on January 1. Relevant information are as follows. So, binigyan ka ng balance sheet. So, cash, receivables, inventory, equipment, payables, and the capital accounts. Carrying amounts and then compared with fair value. Di ba sinabi ko kanina na ipapakita mo na yung fair value nila. Kasi you have to restate this before a corporation absorbs the items in your balance sheet. So, diyan, pinakita na yung receivables ay bumaba, ang fair value, inventory, bumaba din, equipment, tumaas by 130,000. So, the net increase and decreases is a net increase of 100,000. So, tumaas ang asset ng partnership as of the date of incorporation. So, the corporation's authorized capitalization is 2 million. So, ito yung authorized capitalization, computed as 200,000 ordinary shares with par value na 10 per share. So, case number 1, we are required to compute for the number of shares issued to each of the partners and to provide the journal entries. So, assume daw that the shares to be issued to the partners are based on their respective adjusted capital balances. So, let us illustrate this. Ang sabi, we assume daw that the shares to be issued to the partners are based on their respective adjusted capital balances. So, i-adjust muna natin ang kanilang capital balances. Ano ba ang unadjusted capital nila? 150, 200, and 300,000 as a total of 650,000. So, magkano ang share? Meron bang nabanggit na profit dito? Wala. So, doon tayo sa next, yung revaluation gains and loss. So, dahil ni-restate at fair value, hinanap yung fair value, nakita na 100,000 ang net effect. So, 100,000 shall be allocated based on the profit and loss sharing ratios. So, paano nakuha yung profit and loss sharing ratios nila? Paano nakuha? Let us look. Okay. Okay, we assume that A capital is 20%. B is 30%. And C is 50%. So, this is the assumption. Kasi wala pa lang ditang na-i-plot. A capital is 20%, B capital 30%, C capital 50%. So, based on the profit and loss ratio, 100,000 times 20, 100,000 times 30%, 100,000 times 50%. So, yan na ang distribution nung restatement sa fair value ng assets. So now the adjusted capital is 170 for A, 230 for B, and 350 for C as a total of 750,000 ang total adjusted capital. Ang sinasabi lang dito ay, let us go back with the problem. Assume that the shares to be issued to the partners are based on their respective adjusted capital. So, kung magkano daw yung makukompute mong adjusted capital, yun ang ibibigay na based doon yung magiging number of shares mo. Eh, magkano ba ang isang share? Ang par value daw ng ordinary shares ay 10. So, divide mo lang yan ng 10, bawat isa. The number of shares issued for A is 17,000, for B 23,000, for C 35,000. So ang total shares for case 1 is 75,000. So yun lang po. Okay, let's proceed more. So how do we journalize down the transaction? So given the items, first, 'di ba? We have to restate muna their fair value. So debit ka ng equipment 130,000, credit ka ng receivables 20,000 kasi nabawasan 'yan, inventory 10,000 kasi nabawasan 'yan, and yung difference niyan na 100,000, 'di ba na-compute na natin dito kanina na magkakaroon ng increase on their capital credits. So debit credit A capital, B capital, and C capital for 20, 30, and 50,000 respectively. So first step 'yon, yung pag-adjust ng net assets to their fair values. So once na na-adjust mo na yan, i-absorb na yan ng partnership, ay ng corporation. Pero on the books of the partnership, kailangan i-close mo lahat ng item. So lahat ng asset ay i-credit mo at lahat ng liabilities and equity accounts ay i-debit mo. So, ang gagawin mo lang dyan, debit A, B, C capital, 170, 230, 350, and then payables, 50,000. Then, credit mo lahat ng items mo for asset, debit cash, receivables, inventory, equipment, 20, 40, 70, 670. So, dapat munang i-restate at their fair value, tsaka mo i-close. So, kung magkano ang restated amounts nila, yun yung i-close mo. Please remember that. Okay, next. Kanina ito ay journal entries in the partnership books. So ano naman ang gagawin ng new books na tayo sa corporations books na. E de kuhanin mo lang lahat ng item na dito ay kinlose mo. Lahat lang ng item dito ibabalik mo doon sa corporation books. So, debit cash, receivables, inventory, equipment, 20, 40, 70, 670, and then payables, 50,000, and credit yung share capital. So, share capital, pag samasamahin mo, 170, 230, and 350, share capital na lang ang account title niyan at 750,000. So, this is the recording of the initial investments to the corporation. Okay, let's proceed with case number 2. So what if there is a share premium naman? Assume that the A, B, and C agreed to issue 14, 21,000, and 35,000 shares respectively. So kanina, ang sabi, kung magkano yung na-compute nila, kung magkano yung na-compute na adjusted capital, ay yun na mismo ang gagamiting basis in computing the number of shares. Pero dito, meron na silang in-specified na number of shares na yan. So, 14, 21, and 35,000. So, i-add mo yan. 14, 21, 35, yan ay 70,000 shares. So, the question is, how much is credited to the share premium account? So, let us take a look. Ito yung unadjusted capital kanina. 150, 200, 300. So, ito yung na-compute natin kanina. Adjusted capital. 170, 230, 350. So, ito po yung adjusted capital. Since ang tinatanong is the total share premium account, mas madali kung ganito ang magiging procedure mo. The total par value of the shares issued o yung i-issue, ang sabi kasi, ang gusto ni A, B, and C, 70,000 total, di ba? 14, 21, and 35, 70,000 shares yan. So, 70,000 times 10 ka lang dyan. Dahil yun ang par value niya per share. So, 70,000 times 10 is 700,000. So, 750 minus 700,000 is your share premium. Sir, bakit siya magiging share premium? Kasi ang gusto lang ng mga partners ay 70,000 ang total shares ng partnership. So, how do you recognize this as a journal entry? So, same journal entry ang gagamitin mo. Kanina, yung share capital, ang total niyan 750. But now, you will just have to add another account title which is share premium at 50,000. Okay? Let's proceed with case number 3. Preference share. Assume that the corporation was authorized to issue 100 par preference shares and 10 par ordinary shares. The partners agreed to receive 1,000 ordinary shares and even multiples of preference shares for the remaining interest. Requirement: how many ordinary and preference shares did each partner receive? Okay, so mas complicated ito dahil may preference share in addition with to the ordinary shares. Okay, the corporation authorized to issue the 100 par shares and 10 par ordinary shares. Okay, sinabi niya yung par value ng bawat shares. So, the partners agreed to receive 1,000 ordinary shares. Okay, so may limit dun sa ordinary shares. Yung partners ang nagsabi na gusto lang nila 1,000 ordinary shares lang each. And even multiples of preference shares. So, merong limit sa ordinary share pero sa preference share wala. So ngayon, ang tinatanong is yung total ng ordinary and preference share na marireceive ng bawat partner. So let us illustrate. So balikan mo yung item doon sa adjusted capital dahil tayo ay tuloy-tuloy lang yung computation related to these cases. So ang adjusted capital mo based on the previous illustrations ay 750,000. Okay. Ang sabi dito sa problem ay ang gusto lang daw ng bawat partner ay merong 1,000 shares each. So kung 1,000 shares each lang yan, 1,000 times 10 peso par is 10,000 for each of them. A, B, and C, 10,000. So, ibig sabihin, kung merong capital ang bawat isa na mas mataas doon, ay mapupunta na yon sa preference share. So, 170 minus 10 is 160, 230 minus 10, 220, 350 minus 10, 340,000. Divide mo ito sa par value per preference share. So, kung babalikan mo ang sabi doon, ang par value ng preference share ay 100. So, 160,000 divided by 100 is 1,600. So, ibig sabihin, yan ang preference shares na dapat i-issue kay A. 220 divided by 100, 2,200 shares naman para kay B at 3,400 para kay C. So, yun lang ang concept dyan. Ang tinatanong kasi for this case is the total. How many ordinary and preference share did each receive? So, kung ang number of ordinary shares na i-issue kay A, B, and C ay tigwa 1,000, so i-add mo lang 1,600 plus 1,000, 2,600 for A, 3,200 for B, and 4,400 for C. As a total of 10,200 shares. Pero kung ang question ay on a specific kind of share, halimbawa preference share ang tinatanong, so you can refer kung alin ang isasagot mo dyan on your board exam. Okay. I want you to take note that for illustration purposes, ay merong tatlong incorporators lang dito. Hindi na natin in-specify yung other incorporators because under the corporation code, the section 1 of the corporation code, ini-specify doon that the number of incorporators shall not be less than 5 but not more than 15. So, for easy illustrations, para hindi masyadong maraming partners, we illustrate at 3. Kumbaga, tatlo lang muna ang nag-incorporate ng partnership. But on actual practice, it should not be less than 5 but not more than 15. So, gusto ko lang i-emphasize yon for clarity. So I think that ends the discussion on partnership dissolution. So on our next video, we will be looking at partnership liquidation. So I am using the reference Accounting for Special Transactions by Milan as a reference. You can use the reference while you are looking at this discussion video. So I think that is all for partnership dissolution. Thank you.